So in the first week of March 2019, we took a bit of a trip up to Osaka. So at the moment it is 6:30 a.m. in the morning and we're about to get on the Shinkansen. So this video is going to be a bit of a mix of my voiceover and actual speaking from the video. So if you get a little bit confused and you're wondering if I'm talking over myself, that's the reason why. Now this isn't the fastest Shinkansen we're getting on here, but it's fast enough. According to my wife, this travels at around about 300 kilometers per hour. Now for those who don't like the fisheye lens effect, I'm afraid that's going to be through the entire video. I'm sorry about that, but this was recorded on a Mobius 2 mini spy action camera. The reason being is because it was very easy to take with me and extremely portable and easy to hide when I went to USJ, that's Universal Studios Japan. So a couple of hours later, we finally get to our hotel in Osaka, and I do not want to know how much this place cost. It was lush, like really lush. My wife works in an industry which enables her to get really good deals on hotels and so on. So we didn't pay full price for this, but if we did, I can imagine we definitely would have not been staying here. Ooh, who's the handsome devil in the reflection? Maybe not so handsome. So here we are in the business district of Osaka. This is actually where the hotel was. We're outside the Fujitsu headquarters here. I wonder if they can fix my FM Towns CD drive. Probably not. In the far distance we've got the, I think it's the YTV Studios. That's the local TV studio for Osaka. I'm going to be on the video. Now this area is actually around about say 20 minutes walk from Osaka Castle, so it's around about 10 a.m. now, so we head on over to the castle. And as you can see, there is the castle in the background. Osaka Castle may not be one of the biggest in Japan, but its grounds are fairly large. This area, which you can see now, used to be the town which surrounded the actual castle. You can actually see an exhibition of this inside the castle, which unfortunately I couldn't film because there was a strict no cameras, no videos rule going on in there. Now, while I may have not been able to film any of the exhibitions, I could film at the top of the tower and take a couple of pictures. That area over there with the tall buildings is where the hotel is. The big dome-like structure you can see underneath the tall buildings, that's actually an exhibition zone where they do concerts and so on. Okay, this is another famous part of Osaka. Oh. Ren's found Super Mario Brothers in the arcade, look. Look. Look, Ren.
This is for
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's buy one of those. Girls pants. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what Osaka's all about. Dirty filth. Yep, that's right. Those little gacha gacha machines have got pornography related items or sex related items in them. Maybe a pair of fake boobs or girls' knickers, who knows? That's Osaka for you. The tower in the background you can see is actually really famous. It's basically a broadcasting tower. Notice there in the arcade, a couple of girls. Don't normally see that. I tried to film in there, but they kicked me out as soon as they noticed I was walking around with the little spy camera. So there it is. There is the broadcast tower. Whether it's still used for broadcasting signals now, I don't know. Now this area is also extremely famous in Osaka. It's filled with bright, colourful shops and lots of restaurants.
Oh, Mac! You gotta go to the Mac, Ren. Grand open.
Yep, include the McDonald's. A brand new McDonald's. But we're not going to eat McDonald's while we're here. We're going to eat kushikatsu. Kushikatsu is basically fried food on a stick.
She wants to go to... What are you eating? What's that?
Osaka Famous なの。みんな串カツ屋さんでしょ?
Oh, that stuff. Oh yeah, eat some of that, yeah. Right. Steak at the bottom. Wow, look at those karage there. 10 people's worth. It's a lot of karage. Man, look at this place. That's a weird building. Oh. Okay, let's try this place then. They got lots of different stuff. Try this place. This one's the cheese one. This one's cheese. So you dip it in the sauce. Right, and then eat it.
Imagine that. Use the cabbage to put the on like that.
なんかこの唐揚げ超うめえ。
What are you eating, man?
唐揚げ。
Karage, fried chicken. This one, the onion one. Onion. Try the sauce. Okay, so here we are inside a recreation of the Edo period of Japan. Now, most of the people you see walking around are not actually Japanese, they are Koreans or Chinese. Now that's the thing with Osaka, it is jam-packed full of Koreans and Chinese. In fact, at one point, I thought I wasn't in Japan because I didn't see or hear any Japanese people. This place we're looking in here is the traditional bathhouse. That's where the water would be heated up and pumped into the bath, which is behind this low door. The reason the door is low is to keep the heat into the bath. Now, while this place is a recreation of Edo period style Japanese streets, it is very faithful. In fact, it was recreated from original maps and so on of the time. Basically, on the main street, you'd have all the shops, and the people who ran the shops, or the tenants, would live above the shops. Kind of similar to a modern day corner shop, actually. Or at least in the UK. That's terrible. Is this the toilet? Oh, there's an open. Oh, don't touch. Don't enter. Another nice feature with this place is they actually changed the lighting so you go from day to night. Has a little bit of atmosphere to it. In fact, it actually gets that dark that you can't really see where you're walking. Thankfully, the little Mobius spy camera does work really well in low light. If not a little bit grainy, but it's still recording at 60 frames per second. So that's quite nice.
そうそうそうそうそういうことですね不便やから作ったんでこれ嫌やな
Okay, here we are in another very famous part of Osaka. This is Shinsaibashi, the main shopping area, and that Giliko sign with the guy running is extremely famous in Japan. Again, this place was jam-packed with Koreans and Chinese. Didn't see many Japanese people here. I'm sure there are some, but they kept themselves quiet.
There's a game one, Ben.
Commencing Saga mobile phone game there, by the looks of it, on the screens. When the local Osaka baseball team wins the league, I guess, people gather on this bridge and throw themselves off into the river below. The nuts. Talking about nuts, look at that woman dancing up there on the building. Can you see her? Yep, she's advertising goods in the chemist, or the drugstore if you're American. Japan is also famous for many different types of Kit Kats. Just look at all these Kit Kat varieties. We got green tea, strawberry, yogurt, some sort of nuts, treacle versions, they're all there. If Kit Kat isn't your thing, how about some baby spicy crabs?
Batteries. We don't need batteries.
And here's Shinsaibashi at night. Usually the Giliko sign with the runner on it is also lit up, but for some reason it wasn't lit up during this time. Still, it looks quite nice. So this is the next day and we're at Universal Studios Japan. Now I've got to be very careful here because there's a lot of copyright music played in the background. Now I first went to Universal Studios Japan 15 years ago when it was brand new and it sucked big time. I mean, it really did suck. I thought the place was complete and utter crap. But now, 15 years later, it's really good. I actually enjoyed myself an awful lot. This is a new part of the park. I think this opened 2 years ago, maybe. The Despicable Me section, or Minions as it's known in Japan. This area was full of kids, as to be expected, and young couples. Now we went to Universal Studios on a Sunday and the weather wasn't so good. It was kind of overcast and it spitted down with the rain a little tiny bit. Now the reason we did that is because it meant there were very short queues. Now it's not uncommon to be waiting 3 to 4 hours to go on attractions in Universal Studios Japan because they just let everybody in. But if you go on a Sunday, and especially a day where the weather's not too good, you don't wait very long at all. In fact, the longest we waited for any ride was this Minions ride, which is basically a reskinned Back to the Future ride, and we waited there for 40 minutes. That was the longest one. Now this ride, the Flying Dinosaur, we waited like 5 minutes to get on this. It was really quick. This is an excellent roller coaster. It's one of those roller coasters where you face towards the ground. And I took my wife on it and she was not impressed. I loved it though. It was really good. It doesn't look too fast here on film, but it is really fast when you're there in real life. And quite a thrill. Unfortunately, I couldn't video on that ride because you got to take everything out of your pockets, and I mean everything. I couldn't even wear my glasses on the ride. But I was able to record in this attraction, even though I don't think we're technically allowed to, but I managed to gather some footage. Now this is a water ride, and the reason I filmed on it is because the woman in front of me to the left, she had her smartphone out and she was filming everything inside, so I thought, bugger it, if she's doing it, so am I. Now surprisingly, this ride is actually quite long. It ran for around about 11 minutes, which is quite a bit of time. But the action kind of kicks in once you go inside, where it's all really dark. And again, I have to give a thumbs up to the Mobius camera because it filmed in here really well. I'm surprised. I couldn't see what I was filming because there's no screen on a Mobius camera, it's just a little black rectangle, but as you can see, it's really good at filming in the dark.
Transport station でボードを止めるんだ。乗客を救助しろ。こちらアニマルコントロール。緊急してガスメリーだ。
Bloody hell.
And here we are in the backdraft attraction. Now this is actually split up into multiple parts. This is the final part, and again, you're not really meant to film in here, but lots of people had their cameras out, so I thought, why not? And yes, it is very hot in here, and it is quite loud. It doesn't really do it justice seeing it on the video here. You really have to see it in person. I mean, a lot of the fire looks white when it really should be bright orange. But yeah, this was pretty cool. And it's quite a big surprise at the end when everything falls over. But you don't really manage to see that on camera. And here we are walking into the Harry Potter section. Now, if you go to the Harry Potter section of the park on a normal day, you basically need tickets to actually get into this section. That's how popular it is. And I'm not gonna lie, it was the most popular section of the park when we went, but we had no problems entering. We just walked straight in. And again, the rides, I think we waited maybe 10 minutes, if that, to get on the ride. And the ride was pretty cool. It's basically a mix of projection and animatronics, and the way it blends them in together, it's really well done. It's a very good experience. But I was also, you know, impressed with how well they themed this part of the park. It looks really good. And it's all enclosed off, so you can't see the outside world, which really adds to the atmosphere. And yes, they even have the castle. And the castle is surprisingly very large. And as you can see, the staff are dressed up as Harry Potter school children. Here we are about to enter the ride, and as you can see, there's a couple in front of us and nobody behind us. We're just showing our barcode ticket to the guy on the entrance so we can enter the ride. Yeah, it's all digital. We have the codes on the phone screen. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't film inside here because once we got around this corner, we were told to put everything in a locker. So, unfortunately, that meant the camera too. So a little bit of footage of around the Harry Potter themed section.
Nice. Just a caramel juice.
カラメル？
Is it?
あ、匂いがする。あ、
Do you want to taste it, Ren? Tastes like caramel juice. Look, drink the fizzy part. I like it.
Yep, that's our lunch in the Harry Potter section of the park. Big corn on the cob, some spare ribs and roast chicken. It's actually quite nice. And I do like the way the restaurant's themed. Very nice indeed. Strange thing is, I'm not even a fan of Harry Potter. I couldn't care less about Harry Potter, but I really did like this section of the park. Now, while my son wouldn't go on the flying dinosaur roller coaster because it went upside down and had loads of helixes and things in it, he did go on this. This is the Hollywood Dream roller coaster. And it doesn't go upside down, but it does have 90-degree banks, and you know, it's got quite a lot of airtime on it, so he actually enjoyed it, surprisingly.
This one doesn't go upside down, man.
And it's kind of a weird roller coaster because you've got music blaring out the back of the seats as well. It looks kind of slow on the footage here, but it is actually a lot faster when you're riding it. And at night time, well, it's actually lit up here, but you can't see it. But at night time, the actual coaster that you ride on is all lit up, with, you know, with LEDs and so on. Looks really cool. It really does look slow on that video footage. And that big coaster in the background there, that is the flying dinosaur. Quite a large coaster. Now, while I was at the theme park, I could see the section where they were building the new Super Mario World area, and that's going to have a roller coaster in it too, because we saw some of the tracking. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any good footage of that part of the park.
That's where I used to sit on the steps. And Oscar the Grouch used to live there in the bin.
Yep, it's even got Sesame Street.
You ever watch Sesame Street?
Yeah, you can see just how empty it is.
Oh, we used to watch all the time.
10 minutes to attraction there. I wonder how long that's going to be there. Basically 3D cinema with live action. Same as the one in the US, but dubbed into Japanese. And it's around about 7 PM now, and people are starting to make their way home. The park actually closes around about 8 PM. Or not around about, it closes at 8 PM. Of course, that is a very popular place to get your photograph taken, in front of the Universal Globe. We also got our photograph taken there. Kind of a must really, isn't it? And that concludes our little trip to Osaka. It was a 2-day action-packed, very busy... Oh, there's the roller coaster. You can see it with the LEDs on there. There you go. But yeah, it was a pretty busy and kind of tiring weekend, but we had a lot of fun, and you know, I'd like to go back to USJ again in the future, especially when the Mario World section opens up to see what that's like. Again, I'll probably go on an overcast day and make sure it's a Sunday, so there's almost no people there.
At the front, the Universal Studios gate. You're not going to take a picture? こっち。こっちは撮ってないでしょ？入る？